Welcome to Money, Manifestation, and Business, the podcast that shows you how to use your energy, intention, and consciousness to reprogram your money mindset, unleash a new level of possibility, and create a life and business that lights you up. I'm your host, Jamie Berman, and I invite you to join me each week for a dose of inspiration, coaching, and teachings to help you rewrite your money story, create abundance on your terms, and grow your business in a way that's fully aligned for you. This is going to be so much fun. Let's dive in. Hey, guess what? You get a little extra love on the podcast this week. We are giving you 3 bonus episodes. Now, these episodes are coming straight from my latest challenge. It was the Make More Money Challenge. And during my challenge events, I really love to deliver value, deliver teachings, really help everyone who's there have a big energetic shift, have their eyes opened around money. And I got so much great feedback from this particular challenge that I wanted to put some of the teachings up on the podcast for those of you who listen. So just note that these episodes were live, so they're not going to be pristinely edited the same way my other podcast episodes are. So if you hear pauses here or there, or maybe the sound goes a little bit in and out, that is why. But I hope you soak in the teachings. Really, I think these are going to help you do nothing but make more money. So enjoy. Okay. So we're going to dive in because we have some good things to cover. So this is the Make More Money Challenge, and that's exactly what is going to happen this week, or at least we're going to start that trajectory for you, right? You are planting the seeds this week that are going to sprout and grow and allow you to bring in more money without hustling for it, without killing yourself for it, and really learning. Like, I'm super excited just to teach you guys what it takes to make more money, right? Because I feel like this is a lesson of my lifetime. Something that I have learned is the skill of making money. So I'm super excited to teach it to all of you. Okay, let me stop my share. So first, I just want to say that my intention for this, let me pull this down a minute. Okay, so my intention for these challenges, right? I do these a couple times a year, and it really is an opportunity to just come and add value to my community, to come be able to help all of you, whether you're a client, whether you've been a client, whether you have just found me, whether you've been in my community a while. I love offering events where we can come together and do this work together. I think it's way more powerful done in community, especially around money. So that is really my intention. It's also my intention. So we have, the Soulful 6-Figure Mastermind, which is my amazing mastermind that kicks off, applications open on Wednesday. And I only open that twice a year. So that opens on Wednesday. And I love to give those of you who are like, maybe interested in it or interested in working together in some capacity. Maybe it's not that. Maybe it's coming into the movement, or maybe you've thought about coming to one of my retreats. But what I like to do is offer these kind of things for free so that you can get an idea of what it's like working together. Like, you can decide, is Jamie my person? Is Jamie my coach, right? Is this even helpful? Is this the energy that I want to be in, so that you're able to evaluate? And what I find is when I do that, I get clients that are like the most amazing aligned clients, the best energetic matches, and able to get the best results. So this is just a great way if you are interested in working together or coming into the mastermind, where you can really get a feel for what it's like whenever we do work together. It would more be like these 3 days, but in an extended amount of time. And my third intention is truly, honestly, just to help you make more money. Whether you want to continue this or not, I just want these 3 days to be eye-opening, to be potent, to help you have a shift in consciousness around money so that you can make it with more ease. I mean, this is the stuff that I wish I had, just 7 years ago, right? Whenever I was really struggling with money, whenever I felt powerless, whenever I felt like it was up to other people, whether it worked. It just felt very nebulous. It felt hard. And so this is kind of like a gift that I'm giving to my past self, and to those of you who are struggling with money or feel like you just have the desire to make more money and you want to learn more about it. So that's what we're here for. Who is ready? Let me know in the chat if you're ready. I want to hear who's down. I love it. Amazing. I love it, Scott. So good. Okay, I want to make sure you are in the right place. I'm going to share my screen again. I'm going to pop in and out of sharing my screen. Sometimes I like to have a little visual so that you can go along with it. So here, give me one sec. Okay, so you, my friend, are in the right place. Oh, sorry. You can see the little Zoom thing. Okay. So you're in the right place, and I want you to think about and evaluate if you're any of these four. And in fact, I'd love to see in the chat which one you are, just so that I can gear the content kind of towards that and be able to support you. I didn't mention it yet, Daniela, but I'm going to. Sorry, I'm just responding to the chat. But okay, you're in the right place if you've been at business for a while, but still not making the money you would like to be. Give me a 1 in the chat if that's you. If you feel like your output doesn't match your income, I know that's how I felt for so long. I felt like I'm so good at what I do. I give my all to everything I do. I am showing up. I am doing the work, but why am I not making the money? Or I was making money, but it wasn't the amount that I felt was an even exchange for the output. And if that's you, give me a 2. I would love to hear it. I'm going to help you learn how to shift that, right? That's something that I've shifted. Number 3, if you're noticing you've hit an upper limit and you're ready to break through it. Now, what is an upper limit? It's kind of like, and this can be at any level. This can be like, oh my gosh, I noticed that I can make $3,000 a month. That's what I tend to make. Why can't I get to $4,000 a month? It might be that you're making an upper limit could be, I've been making $1 million for the past 3 years and I just can't seem to break through. I want to have more impact. I want to scale this even bigger. Why is it that for the past 3 years, I've been in $1 million? It doesn't matter what the number is. It's just if you feel like there's a pattern you're noticing and you're like, why can't I scale beyond that? It's been a while and you're ready to kind of break through that. We're going to talk about that for sure. And everything that you're learning in here is going to help you break through that. So give me a 3 if you've hit an upper limit. And I'd love to hear, well, you don't have to share what your upper limit is, but if you want to, you can. Number 4, if you feel like things are good, but you're just excited to learn some helpful tips to expand even more, right? If you're like, I love my business. I love what I do and I'm ready for expansion. Throw me a 4 and you might be all 4 of these. You might be a couple of them. I'm seeing a lot of okay, 1 and 2, 1 and 3. Yeah. Perfect. 3 and 4. Yeah. 4. Okay. Perfect. Amazing. So we really have a combination of all of it. And that's absolutely perfect because every single thing that we're going to cover throughout these 3 days is going to help no matter if you're a 1, 2, 3, or 4. So excited. Okay. So now what I would really love to hear from you is what your intention is for being here. I shared what my intention is. My intention is to really help serve my community, help you all make more money, and just give you an experience of what it's like to work together, to coach together. So if you think about what is it that drove you to sign up, to put your email address in and say submit, right? What is it you would love to get out of these 3 days? Now, the reason that I'm asking you this question is because intention is beyond powerful, right? When we set an intention, we're actually going to talk more about this today, but when we set an intention, the chances of it happening are so much higher versus if we're just kind of here soaking things in. You'll get things, but if you set an intention, you will get what you intend. So I would love to hear in the comments what it is you would love to intend by Wednesday. What would you love to walk away with, right? How would you love to feel? What is it that you really want to learn? Or maybe it's, I want to break through this limit and get specific with it. Okay. I want to hear a couple. I want to sign a new private client on my year package. Awesome, Nikki. I'm wanting to change the world. Love it, Wendy. My intention is to be open to receiving from you because you are my coach. I love it, Scott. Soak up every ounce of Jamie's energy. Oh, you're so sweet, Mindy. Yes, I'm here to give my energy. We'll do an energetic exchange because you guys are actually what gives me this energy. So it really is an energetic exchange. All right. Richard says, I want to feel like money is on its way. Okay. I love that. Intend it, write it down. My intention is to create 10,000 and break through my limit. Awesome, Corey. Let's go. I want to become more comfortable making offers. Stop procrastinating. Good, Lisa. Let's go. I want to follow back and sign a client. Love it, Lily. Okay, awesome. So fill 4 more spots in my mastermind. Yay, Meg. I love. Okay, 10K. Okay, I'm not going to read everything until after. I will go through. I'm going to download this chat and read absolutely everything because I want to know what I'm supporting you all with. And we're going to do some fun stuff in the Facebook group too. But so glad you guys got your intentions down. My intention is to support you with that fully. All right. Okay. So before we dive in, I want to go over the challenge and how to really make the most out of these 3 days. Because like I said, they are potent. I kind of want you guys to think of these 3 days as like a retreat. I run retreats, and oftentimes people have said, I feel like at a retreat, it's like the timeline, something happens, it expands or collapses, and it feels like 6 months of coaching in a weekend. And we have 3 potent days together. So I definitely, want to make the most of it. So I'm going to teach you how to do that. So let me go ahead and share my screen again, because again, this is a challenge and I love to give away gifts. I love to reward those of you who go all in. So give me 1 second. I'm going to show you what those are. Perfect. Okay. So here are the fun prizes, the grand prize of the challenge. And then I'm going to teach you how to win these. But the grand prize is a remarkable notebook. This is like $400, $500 value, something like that. I'm obsessed. Anyone have this? Share it in the comments. But this is a virtual notebook that you will absolutely love. I use it all the time. I used it to plan this challenge. I have all of my manifestations in here, and I just love it because you can also use it on your computer. It feels like an actual notebook or thing that you're writing in. So that is the grand prize, right? So if you go all in on this challenge in these 3 days, you could win the remarkable. And we're going to do a prize draw at the end. The second prize is a abundance gemstone bracelet that has crystals that are all in alignment with the energy of abundance. And it's from one of my favorite stores, Goriana. Cannot wait for whoever wins that one. It's super fun. And then the third place, I'm going to do 3 different winners. We'll get a $25 Amazon gift card. But along with that, you're going to receive a list of my favorite, most life-changing money and manifestation books. And that's a list that I only have in my programs. So you're going to be able to get that and then buy one of the books or 2 of the books on the list with your gift card. So let's talk about how to really get the most transformation out of these 3 days and how to be able to be entered to win. So basically what you're going to want to do is watch all 3 days in full. Whether you come live or watch the replay, there is something really special about being live and being able to ask questions and being able to interact. But if you can't make it live one day, we're going to be sending out the replays. So that's not a problem. Each of the days, I'm going to be giving a secret word of the day. It's a secret. So don't tell anyone, right? Because we want to make sure those of you who are entering to win actually came and soaked in all the goodness. So I'm going to be sharing a secret word on each of these lives that you can save and just write it down. And once at the end of it, you're going to want to have all 3 of the words. Also, join the Make More Money Challenge Facebook group. So Daniela, if you could put that in the chat. So if you haven't joined that yet, Daniela's going to put it in the chat and you can come in because that's where all the challenge magic and party is going to happen beyond these live calls. Okay, in that Facebook group, let me tell you one of the best ways to manifest more. And we're going to dive actually further in this tomorrow. But it's to celebrate what's working, to celebrate what's already being created, even if it's the tiniest thing. The more you celebrate, the more things to celebrate will come into your life. So I really want you to think of these 3 days as, can I find as much in my life to celebrate as possible? Because unmanaged, our brain will not recognize goodness. Our brain will not recognize abundance that's coming in. And one of the best ways to manifest is actually starting to notice and recognize the abundance that's already here, right? What you appreciate appreciates. So start really looking for the things, like train your brain to look for and appreciate it and celebrate it. So I want you to share your celebrations in the Facebook group and use the hashtag celebrate. And I'm going to celebrate along with you. The more you do that, the more you will see results. I see this with my clients, right? The ones who like celebrate all the time, they're always getting more and more results. It's awesome. It's incredible and it works. And it's, I think, one of the things that is, like the least used in manifestation, but the most potent. It almost seems too simple, but I swear it will change your life. So let's celebrate in the Facebook group. The other thing that you'll do is on each of these days, I'm going to give you guys a challenge action step. It's going to be something simple, but it's going to be a way to actually implement what I'm teaching. And for it to actually like you to implement it in your life and start getting results. So I'm going to share something and then go into the Facebook group and do hashtag day 1 for day 1 of the challenge. And you have to do all 3 days. If you do all of this, then you can absolutely win the prizes. The other thing, this is just for fun. If you're loving this content and you want to just be generous and, spread the abundance and share it with your community, or if you know someone who might like this, you can share pictures on Facebook or Instagram and just use the hashtag Make More Money Challenge. And you can tag me and I'll reshare them and connect with you. So that's just kind of a fun little extra. All right. Sound good? So I wanted to go over housekeeping. Just day 1 is the only day we're going to go over housekeeping. And yes, Daniela put the Facebook group in there. So amazing. Oh, yes. Okay. So before we dive into today's teachings and topic, which today is a good one, I'm so excited. I wanted to let you know that there is a VIP option with this challenge. I know a lot of you are actually signed up for the VIP experience. So this is the last day that you can upgrade to VIP. It's only $49. But it is a chance to stay on an extra hour and get personalized support from me. So we're going to stay on from 12 p.m. PST, just right after this challenge, and we're going to go in and coach. So if you feel like I've been stuck around money, or I've been in a bad headspace and I really want to get into belief, and I'm like, if there's something you're struggling with, or there's this upper limit that I keep hitting, and I love the content, but I want to really get some support from Jamie and like figure out exactly what to work on, or see if she can help spot a limiting belief, come in there, because I'm just going to be coaching that entire hour. And not only is it going to be helpful for you to get personalized coaching, you don't even have to. Just watching the coaching, it's a different experience than me just teaching. And it's going to be super powerful. So Daniela's going to put the upgrade. If you want to upgrade, this is the last chance to do it, right? And you can stay on an hour after this. You'll also get the replays to all the VIP experiences, which will be fantastic. So just wanted to throw that out there. Okay. I love it. Love it. So y'all have set your intentions. I've shared mine. So we're going to dive into today's teaching. And there's one thing that I really, before we talk about step 1 of making more money, I want to talk about the 3 things that I really want you to remember throughout this challenge. Okay. It's kind of like mantras that I want you all to get out your journal and write these things down. So I'm going to share it again. I got to chime in and let you know that the day has come. The Soulful 6-Figure Mastermind applications are open right now. and they won't be open long. We only open applications for a 2-week period. So it is time to apply. You can go to the show notes and learn more and apply there. But first, let me tell you what the Soulful Six Figure Mastermind is. It is my most high touch coaching container that I have. Every 6 months, I take a group of soulful coaches and service-based entrepreneurs who are really ready to grow their business in a new way, where they are not hustling and striving, and where they're really implementing everything that I teach on the podcast here, but really learning how to live it, really learning how to bring it into their business in a way that allows the most growth and transformation. And let me tell you, this container is sacred, it is special, and it is transformational, like I said. So it's the time to apply. If you are growing your business to your first 6 figures, we have a group for you called the Growth Cohort. And if you are growing beyond 6 figures, if you're already at 6 figures and you're ready to really scale it and grow to multiple 6 figures up to $1 million, we have the Scale Cohort. So we've got a place for you either way. And here's the thing, it is an intimate group. So you really get high touch mentorship and support from me. We have a retreat in the middle of it where we all come together and it's magic. So make sure to go to the show notes and apply. All right, back to the episode. Okay. These are the 3 things I want you to remember throughout the challenge. All right, get out your notebooks. These might be actually something you want to put on Post-its everywhere just to remind yourself. This is going to get you into the energy of abundance. So number 1, money is everywhere and it's available. Money is everywhere and it's available. It's one of the best mantras you can practice. And I also love looking for evidence of how it's true. Right? I go to Vegas and I'm like, there is money everywhere. People are literally just putting hundreds and hundreds and thousands of dollars into slot machines, right? Like as if it's nothing. Or you go to, the mall and see what people are spending. Like money is everywhere and it is being circulated. There is no reason to be in scarcity around your products. And there's no reason to be in scarcity thinking there's no more people out there. No, there is money everywhere and it is available. Okay, number 2 that I want you to remember, it's what I touched on earlier, but the more you celebrate how far you've come, the further you'll go. This is actually one of the biggest money blocks that I see with high achievers is that they look at the gap of how far they have to go versus how far they've come, right? If you're in the middle of a launch, let's say, for example, or if you're in the middle of a week, maybe you look at, oh my gosh, I have this much more to do versus this is how much I've already done. Wow, look at me go. I'm amazing, right? We don't acknowledge and celebrate ourselves enough. So we're always like chasing something. But I'm telling you, this is one of the best ways to get into abundance is start celebrating how far you've come. Like I said, if you're in a launch, look at how many people have come in, appreciate them because what you appreciate appreciates. If you appreciate the people that are there, more will come. Okay. Number 3, making money is a skill that anyone can learn. This is something I learned that it really is a skill that we were not taught. We were not taught about money in school. We were told not to talk about money. It's always been this topic that's kind of off limits. It's weird to talk about, especially as women. But it really is a skill that anyone can learn. And it's what I teach. It is truly the skill of making money because it's been a lesson that I have learned myself. And I'll teach you guys a little bit more about how I learned it. But anyone can learn this if you commit yourself to it. So if you want to make more money, just commit yourself to the skill of making money. I have a client who literally was on one of these calls a year and a half ago. She heard that sentence and she said, oh my gosh, that's crazy. I'm committing myself to learning that skill. I didn't realize it was a skill. And she went from making $200 a month to making, now she's a year and a half in, we've been working together and she's making $100,000 a month because she committed herself wholeheartedly to that skill, right? Even whenever it was challenging, she got coached, she got, support around it. So just remember these three things. These are things that you might want to write down. And just remember that all throughout the challenge. Okay. So here's the thing is today, what we're going to talk about is the first step of creating money. I'm going to go through a lot of different, in the 3 days, we're going to cover a lot of different things and different steps of making money. But I want to talk about step one, the most important step, which is something that a lot of us don't do. And it's all about setting specific money goals. And I don't even think just specific money goals, but for me, I've thought about setting the impossible, setting an audacious money goal, something that my mind can't really wrap my head fully around. And that's what I want to talk about today is how do we create the impossible? What is it that allows us to create the impossible? Because I know for me, there's been many things in my life that I at one point thought was completely impossible. And then I happen to create them, right? Or manifest. If you don't, whether you like the word manifest or create, it's really the same thing. But I created them. Like a couple of them are moving to Los Angeles. At some point, I didn't even think that was possible. Like I grew up in a, community or not community, but like I just grew up kind of socialized to believe like, oh, it's really expensive there. You may not make it. You may end up back in 2 months. Like it actually it felt totally impossible to move to a huge city and stay there and be able to afford it. And that was one of the first really big impossible things I did in my early 20s. Also, some other things like healing my relationship with my body, like actually healing my hormones and healing health conditions in my 20s, losing 50 pounds. All of this at one point felt totally impossible. And these are non-money related. But I've also done this a lot around money because I used to think I could kind of manifest just about everything but money. And then I realized, wait a minute. Maybe I can manifest money. Maybe I just need to work on my relationship with money. So then, it was about 8 years ago that I started my money journey. And I just want to take you guys back to what my life looked like 8 years ago and why it really does feel like I've created the impossible. So just 8 years ago, just 8 years ago, I'm just trying to think back. Okay. I was making $30,000 a year. And that felt like that was definitely an upper limit, right? Because I felt like it was actually $28,000 a year, but I felt like I couldn't break past that. No way was I even dreaming at that point of making $100,000. I remember whenever I started my coaching business and this was 8 years ago. And I was thinking, I have no idea how to get clients. And I remember hiring my first getting into my first coaching container. And I remember thinking, if I even made $60,000 a year for the rest of my life, I would be solid. That would be amazing. Like that literally felt impossible, So yeah, 8 years ago, I was dreaming of making $60,000 a year. And I had horrible credit. I had a bunch of student loans. I remember it was like around the time that me and Josh got married actually 8 years ago. We just celebrated our anniversary on Tuesday. And we bought a house around that time, right before we got married. And I was going to put my name on the house because we were getting married. And they were like, sorry, we can't have Jamie's name on it. Her credit's too bad. It's going to make your mortgage, I don't even know if you'll qualify for a loan. So, that was painful, feeling just powerless. It doesn't feel good to feel like I had no control around money. My credit was awful. I was getting into this marriage and I was like, God, I'm such a mess. I can't make money. My credit's horrible. We're buying a house. I can't even put my name on it. What happens if something happens to Josh? I don't know how to make money. How would I survive? Right? It was just the most powerless feeling. And so that was 8 years ago. And I really felt like that was kind of that rock bottom point where I was like, I really want to shift this. I really want to change. I want to be able to make money, right? And I just wanted to be able to make $60,000 a year. So I went on this journey. And it was in like, I think it was 2019 that I learned about the impossible goal and setting an impossible goal from my coach at the time, Brooke Castillo. And I remember setting $100,000 goal, and it felt literally totally impossible. But her whole thing was, if it's impossible, your brain can't fight against it, so you might as well go for it. So I decided to go for the impossible. And at least I was like, I'm going to create $100,000 business. But my brain didn't believe it in any way, shape, or form, because I was at that point, like, I have no idea how to get clients. Like, I've been at it for 2 years and nothing's happening. I had like little bits of money coming in here or there. I knew I was a great coach, but I didn't know how to like actually sign and convert clients. But I decided like I was wholeheartedly committed to that goal. And that was my first impossible milestone around money. And once I learned that process and committed myself to it, then I could just keep going with it. So I did. I ended up creating my first 6 figures. I think it was in 2019 or 2020. Then I went to my first 500K from there. And of course, this was all like an evolution. It's not like it happened overnight, but that was my next, big impossible goal. Then I had my first $240,000 month, right? And like, so these goals just kept evolving. And it was really just me letting myself dream and letting me go after my desires. And then the next one, I remember me and Josh wanted to get a second place in Maui, right? We wanted to get our condo, but we did not have the circumstances to allow that to happen. It was like, no way could we get a second mortgage. We were just making this mortgage, right? And so I just decided, I don't care, it's impossible, but I'm going to go after it. And I swear, every time I have gone after what I actually desire and declared it and decided I am deserving of it, I'm worthy of it, and I can create it, my circumstances rise to meet that, right? And it's because I'm wholeheartedly committed. And I'm not saying it happens overnight. I'm not saying it's an easy process. It's a process of evolving into that person, which also means there's some growing pains, but it's incredible. So the next year I was able to buy a condo in Maui. And what's wild is think about in terms of like the impossible and like celebrating how far you've come, right? It's like 8 years ago, I couldn't even have my name on the house. Then in 2022, when we went to refinance, it was because of my income that we were able to refinance and I got my name on the house. It was because of my consistent income that we were actually able to get a loan and buy our place in Maui, right? And then my husband was able to transition his job and like his income stopped. And I have been able to actually support our household like he did for me back in the day. And it's all because I made this decision. I really am going to wholeheartedly commit to learning the skill of making money, even if it feels really hard. And even if I have to change my brain over and over and over. So I've been able to really create the impossible over and over and over and evolve myself through this. And it's wild to see what can happen. It never, ever feels like an overnight process at all. It feels like, when you're in it, when I'm in it, it felt like it was taking forever. But looking back, it's like, holy cow, 8 years, like, look what can happen when you dedicate yourself to this. So that is what I want to be talking today is how do we create the impossible around money? And I really feel so called to teach this work because I think it's so important. I think so many people feel powerless around money. And I think it's a lot of really soulful people who feel powerless around money or feel like you can only get to so far. And I actually think when money is in the hands of good-hearted people, it only has a ripple effect in the world. So I feel so strongly about this. And I feel so strongly about helping women do this because as of 1972, is it, or 76? I can't remember the exact year. 72, I think. Women couldn't even buy they couldn't even get a mortgage by themselves. They couldn't even get a credit card without a man's signature, right? So like, it's been a short amount of time that women have even been able to have power. So I think it's like, we have to have a lot of compassion that it takes some time to learn, right? That we have power because it is not something we came into the world evolved knowing, right? This is actually something I think this generation of humans at this time as women really have to learn. You know, we have to learn that we have power, and that's totally okay. It's a process of learning, but it's something I'm totally committed to, and I'm committed to teaching it. So anywho, yeah. And what's fun is that this impossible like process, the setting audacious goals and going after them, it hasn't just worked for me. Like I have seen so many of my clients create the impossible, just thinking back of when they started with me and they couldn't even imagine, and me thinking back to where they are now. It's amazing. So many of them have created, you know, 6-figure businesses, 7-figure businesses. And not only that, but it's like they're able to maybe support their family, or maybe their husband's able to leave. Like I'm just talking about specific examples of like my one client, her husband's like able to leave his job that he really doesn't like. And it's because of her income. And she was like, when we started working together, she had just started her business. She was a stay-at-home mom before that. So it's amazing to see what can happen as a result of like diving in and committing yourself to this work. Okay. So I want to talk about, I think it's really important to talk about why we actually don't create the money that we want to, and then how we can. So I want to talk about some of the blocks that end up getting in the way so that you can kind of evaluate and see what might be coming up for you. I would also love to hear in the chat. I'm going to make sure the chat's open. Let me know if any of these resonate for you out of, you know, the 7. So why we don't create the money we actually want to. Number 1, you don't think you can, right? I mean, this is classic. You don't think you can. You don't think you are someone who can create $1 million. You don't think you are someone who can create 6 figures, whatever it is, or 10K months. You just have this thought, I can't do it. And that just comes from conditioning, right? It comes from what you were taught growing up, what you saw, what you experienced, the people around you. So you don't have a thought, I can do it. I am someone who does it. You don't identify with that. And as Henry Ford says, whether you think you can or think you can't, you are right. So if you think you can't, you are not going to, guaranteed. But once you decide, maybe I'm someone who can, and I'm going to decide to believe I'm someone who can, you will prove yourself right. So that's number 1. Number 2, you think you have to know how in order to decide to do it. Like you get stuck in, how am I going to do it? How am I going to make it happen? And when we get stuck in the how, we immediately go into lack. And here's the thing, getting stuck in how is actually not an energetic match to the person who has it. And what I mean by that is you're never really going to understand how. Even after you have it, someone's going to be like, oh my gosh, you created that. How did you do it? You're going to have to like go to your brain and be like, how did that happen? I don't know. Like I had a client come through here and here and here. Like, how did I? You're not even going to really understand how once you're there, right? Like I share all these things that happened to me. And whenever I say how, I'm like, well, had to do with me doing the work on my money mindset, had to do with me showing up consistently. It was like kind of the compound effect of it all. I set an intention, I manifested, but there is not one through line of how. It was also, I failed a bunch and learned from the failures, right? So we're never going to have the 1, 2, 3, how it happened. So you might as well stop looking for that ahead of time, because you're not even going to know once you're there how it happened, right? And this is why a lot of people like end up thinking it's a fluke, because they're like, how did I do that? I don't know. I don't really understand. And you're really never going to. It's kind of magical. You're going to understand the pieces of it, but you'll never understand like an exact through line of exactly how it happened and unfolded. There is magic to the process. The other reason that people don't create the money that they want to is because they don't set specific and audacious money goals, right? You don't get specific with it. Or, you know, maybe you jump around with it, right? You like, they'll set it and then you don't see it happening. So you change your mind. So yeah, for sure. That's another reason, because, you know, with the way that I like to think of it is we have to plug our desires into the universe and claim that we want it. Like we really have to claim, this is what I want and I'm sticking to it no matter what, for as long as it takes. And that's how we create the impossible. That is 100% how it's done. But if you don't actually set it, if it's a little more elusive of like, oh, I just want to have more money, right? Then it's not going to really, you could create more money, but you could create an extra 2 cents and you won't really notice it. So you really want to set audacious money goals. And we're going to talk more about that today. Okay. Also, if you don't commit, like, let's say you do set a money goal, but you just don't commit to it long enough. Because again, like I said, like this 8-year journey, if I look at it, I'm like, holy cow, look how far I've come. But every week, every day when I'm in it, I don't feel like I've come so far. It feels like it's taking forever, right? And so, but at the same time, even though it feels like it's taking a long time, I still stay committed to it, even if I'm not seeing the evidence of it happening. So you have to like just decide I'm going to commit to this, even if it takes me the rest of my life. So another reason it doesn't happen is, let's say you do set money goals, but you approach the creation of it from a place of scarcity or insecurity. And that doesn't work, right? So you're approaching your goal from, I'm not good enough now. I don't have enough now. I'm not secure now. I don't feel safe now. So I need that thing in order to feel safe or secure or successful, which means we get attached to it. And when we're attached to it, we suffocate it. It does not move. It barely moves. That is some of the deepest work that I do with my clients, is really help them untangle the attachment with money, because it's going to be a much more fun and enjoyable process creating it when you can detach those things. And the truth is, that thing will never give you what you think it will. Like, money's never going to give you security. There are so many multimillionaires who feel so insecure. They're just scared of everything, right? They're like, oh no, now my overhead's really high. And right? There's a lot of people that have the result, but they don't actually have the feeling that they want. So why not do that work ahead of time? Another reason you might not be making the money you want is maybe you're not getting out of your comfort zone enough. Maybe you are not stretching yourself, right? Because changing your identity, right? Whenever it comes to making more money, you're going through an identity change. And that is, you have to get out of your comfort zone to do that and take leaps of faith and lean on faith. So if you're always kind of staying in a comfort zone, that might be why you're staying stuck, or it might be why you're in an upper limit. Like, if you're hitting an upper limit, have you been staying kind of in your comfort zone in many ways? Have you not been stretching yourself much? And we're going to dive into like these even further throughout the 3 days and like how to really shift them. But I'd love to hear what you guys are seeing as maybe what's resonating for you. Okay, number 7, maybe you're getting bogged down by your current circumstances or situation or your past. Meaning, let's say you've been at something for a while, and the longer you stay at it, the more frustrated you get, the more impatient you get, versus seeing, hey, my circumstances are literally created by my past. What I have now has nothing to do with me now, right? Whatever you have now has to do with past decisions, past thinking, past actions, right? Past feelings, right? All of that has driven what you've created up until now. And as long as you let what you have now dictate what you think about yourself, what you think is possible, you will stay stuck in that. It's a vicious cycle. So yeah, all of them. 7. Okay, good. 6 and 7. Love it. I'm so glad you guys are working to shift these. And that is what I'm here for. I'm totally here to support you in shifting these things. So what we're going to talk about today is the audacious money goal, and really deciding and declaring the impossible and going after it. Okay. So, and like I said, that is literally why I have created the impossible over and over and over, is because I have decided to not just go for little goals, right? And here's how I would encourage you to think about it. Stretch yourself, go for something that's beyond what your mind can comprehend, because as Norman Vincent Pearl says, shoot for the moon, because even if you miss, you'll most likely land amongst the stars, right? So it's like, I always think of it as, it's like that goal is actually what's going to propel you so much further. You may not land exactly on that goal, but you're going to land somewhere amazing along the way, right? If I didn't set big, audacious goals, I wouldn't even make the progress that I've made even in the slightest. And I've had one big money goal that I have been working with for a while, and it's evolved me so much. I'm not there yet. I've been really holding space for it, really staying with it, staying wholeheartedly committed to it, but I haven't reached it yet. I've evolved, and it's what's gotten me where I am. It's helped me make the decisions that I've made now. It's helped me get in alignment with that goal. So shoot for what it is you really, really want. It's time to tap into desire. What also happens when we set audacious money goals is it really does force us to think bigger. It forces us to expand our mindset beyond what it is now. And that is how it's going to manifest. You have to expand your mind beyond what it is now. Also, what's really great about setting big, audacious money goals is the more that you go for it, it's like you start to normalize it in your brain, right? Whereas like I said, that $100,000 goal, whenever I first said it, it felt completely impossible. Like my brain was like, yeah, right. Before that, I thought if I could make $60,000 a year for the rest of my life as an entrepreneur, I was solid, right? But the more that I thought about the 100K goal, even though I wasn't making as much progress as I wanted, I feel like over time, I normalized it and normalized it and normalized it. It felt more normal. It felt like something, oh, maybe I could do that, and that's what it actually takes to manifest. So start normalizing bigger numbers, right? Okay. So a couple of things that I want you to remember whenever it comes to impossible money goals. Okay. Number one, it's really important to write it down. There's actually studies that show that if you write down your audacious money goal and claim it, declare it, and declare it to the universe, feel it from your heart space, not just like from your head. Feel it from your heart space. This is something I'm declaring. I have decided this is what I'm creating, right? If you write it down, studies show there is a 42% chance higher that you will increase it. Like people who write down their goals have a 42% chance higher that they will actually reach that goal. So write your money goal down. Like you can write it, keep it by your bedside. You don't have to look at it all the time. You don't have to focus on it all the time. You don't, right? Like I've had so many times where I've written things down in my journal and I go back, I'm like, oh my gosh, I manifested that thing. I hadn't thought about it, But writing it down does something magical to, I don't know, it's like declaring it to the universe, right? There's an energy that happens when you write it down. So do that. Okay, number two that I want you to remember is you don't have to know how in order to achieve it. The way that this is going to work is you will only get one step at a time. It will be one step at a time that is revealed. And if you learn to slow down and connect with your intuition, connect with yourself, not what everyone else around you is saying, right? But really connect with yourself. Or if something that you hear resonates with you, it's like, just take that next step. You literally only have to know the next step. And that is how it's going to unfold. So if you ever feel overwhelmed, one of the best things to do is just say, wait, I don't have to know how this is all going to happen. What is my next step? Like, what is the step right now? And then take that one step. Okay. Number three that I want you to remember, don't change this goal just because you're struggling with it. Like I said, I've had one, in fact, all of these, I felt like, over 8-year period, it felt like, oh, that's a lot that happened, but it always felt like it took a long time. I always felt like I had to really hold it for a while, many years. And the thing is that I just didn't change it. So don't change the goal just because you're not seeing evidence that it's happening or enough evidence. Don't like, for example, let's say that you're setting $100,000 goal. Don't say, oh my God, Q1, I didn't hit $25,000. So that means it's not going to happen. So I need to change my goal. That is not going to be helpful, right? Don't change it. Just let yourself change the timeline, if anything. That's what I do. Like, I don't put strict timelines on my things. Like, I might have an intended timeline, but it's not strict. My whole thing is is I am going to do this no matter what, even if it takes me the rest of my life. I am committed to you goal. It's like having a relationship with the goal that's very loving and it's a committed relationship. So don't be changing it all the time because you will never reach it. You won't. It'll be like always needing to change it. I don't know if anyone else resonates with that, but that's something that I used to do a lot. And it's just not helpful. There are times where I have worked with clients where I said, well, maybe we want to focus on just this next step first. Like, let's hold the goal, but put it on like the side. But maybe you want to focus on this step of it first. And that's totally, I'm all about that, right? Do baby steps, like work your way towards it in a way that feels more doable and like, oh, what's the next thing that I want to reach? But don't change the overall goal. Just let yourself kind of put it on the sideline and think, okay, what's the next step? Okay. Another one to remember is, I just want to say one of the best energies that you can possibly have, we're going to dive deep into this tomorrow, but one of the best energies you can have around audacious goals is patience. Patience. In fact, in A Course in Miracles, there is a line that says, infinite patience results in instant manifestation. It's like the more patient you are, the easier it manifests. And I've seen this time and time again. That's why attachment isn't helpful, because when we're in attachment, we can't be patient. We really are impatient when we're in attachment. So patience, can you cultivate patience around your goal? I want you guys to think about what that would look like, because the more patient you are, the faster it's going to happen. The slower you let it be, the faster it's going to unfold. It's trippy, but it happens with any manifestation, right? When we don't need it, we're not suffocating it, right? It's like, we just want it. We're going after it. We're letting ourselves expand into it. We don't need it. That's another thing. Like, don't grab on to needy energy. You don't need this thing, because point number, what is it? 4 and things that I wanted you all to remember is that there is not better than here. Now, whenever I say that, I think that's one of the best lines I ever learned, because I used to think for sure once I got this money, it was going to be better. And I'm not saying that there are not going to be certain parts of your life that are better if you have more money. Absolutely. There are things that I don't stress about money anymore. I don't think about things whenever I go to pay for things. Like, if I want something, I buy it. It's a very, very different relationship than I used to have. If I want to go on vacation, I go on vacation. If I want to do a 24-hour trip to go to a party, I just buy some flights, right? It's very different. But here it is that when I say here is not better than there, there's going to be a new obstacle that arises in your life. So life is still going to feel like 50-50. There's always going to be obstacles, and then there's going to be, the growth areas and the things to celebrate. That never changes. So there's going to be something else that comes up that is going to be a life curriculum for you to work through, right? So no matter who you are, there's still going to be obstacles in life. So it's never going to feel like oh my God, I have money and now there's nothing else. I'm so relieved. There's going to be a new thing for you to work with. Maybe it'll be, and I'm not saying but it's rich people have problems too, right? Rich people, maybe there's a health struggle or some obstacle that you're working with. So it's almost like you just don't think about that one thing anymore. You guys know how growth is, right? Think about something you've overcome. It's not like you feel bliss about that thing you overcome. You just kind of don't think about it anymore. So it doesn't create added stress, but there's new things to think about. So just remember, and the reason I say that is because it allows you to be patient. Because you can remember, I'm always going to have a human experience, no matter what. So it's so important that we don't make those goals so important, because it's also really disappointing when you get there and realize you're still a human and it's not all that you made it out to be. Of course, it's like you've had to become a certain person to get there, and that's fun. And there's a pride in getting there, but it's not everything, right? So don't place too much importance on it, because if you do, and if you put it on a pedestal, it'll be a lot harder to manifest, and you don't enjoy your life along the way. And really, that's everything. Can you imagine you get to the end of your life and God, I'm so glad I stressed about money for most of my life, or for 10 years of my life. because that's what helped me to get the money. No, it doesn't, right? So like, let yourself be present and enjoy the goodness now, because there's always going to be goodness and then there's always going to be challenges. So if we can like balance the two, we're going to talk more about that tomorrow, but it's key. Okay. So the point of the goal, the other thing that I wanted to mention, point 5, is the point of the goal is not to achieve it necessarily. The point of the goal is to let it expand you, right? So instead of focusing on achieving the goal, I would recommend focusing on letting it expand you. What is this goal here to teach you? Who do you have to become? What is the inner work necessary to create this? How do you need to transform in order to create that goal? That's what I would be thinking about. Like, how is this expanding me versus how do I achieve it? Because if you ask that question, like, what's the next thing? Opportunity for expansion. How am I letting this expand me? Totally different experience. Number 6, that I wanted to point out, things to remember, is that the goal or the result will not change you, right? So if you get that money or if you reach your goal, whatever it is, it's not going to change you. You're not going to suddenly feel so much better about yourself. You're really not, right? You think you are, but you're not. It's actually the opposite. You need to change you in order to reach the goal, right? So if you want to reach a goal, think about, what is it that I think that goal is going to give me? How am I going to start thinking about myself? How do I think I'm going to feel? Which is why we get excited about it. And the opportunity then is say, ooh, how can I create that now? Because that is an inner game that has nothing to do with circumstances. Like, circumstances cannot give us those things. So think about, ooh, how can I create that feeling now? How can I think about myself in that way now? Because that is an inner game. And I always say this, making money is an inside job. The more inner work you do, the more money you will make. It is not a let's rush to do this or let's get the right strategy, right? Strategies and action are important, but they are all stemmed from the inner workings. So do the inner work around it and you will see the external manifest. So I want to hear if anyone has questions about any of this. Go ahead and put it in the chat. Yeah, good. Yes. Yeah. And if you struggle to be with the patience piece, then, that is the opportunity. That is because when you can become patient, you will see that it manifests so much easier. Yeah. Making money is an inside job, which is great news, I think, right? Because that's something we're in control of. So 100%. Okay. Let's see. I want to see if there's any questions. Oh, okay. If we're worthy of abundance now, why do we have to change? Like when you say you change you, good question. So Haley, it's actually not that you're actually changing. It's just that you are recognizing that you're worthy of abundance now and you're knowing it. That's the change, right? So before you might have thought like, I am not worthy of abundance or I'm not ready yet. The inner change is going to be, I'm ready now. I'm worthy now. I'm deserving now. I'm available now, right? And it's that knowing deep in your soul. That's the inner work game, right? So it's not that you have to change as a person. You change your consciousness. So you change the way that you think. So yes, you're worthy now, but maybe you don't know it. If the money is not manifesting, maybe you're not like recognizing that. So the inner working and the change is going to be, I'm going to start recognizing that. That's my work, right? Let me know if that makes sense. So good. Okay. I want to give you guys your, perfect, Haley. I love it. Okay. So I want to give you your word of the day. Number 1, word of the day is money. So everybody write it down. Word of the day is money. All right. And then I'm going to give you your fun action step of the day. And I'll share my screen just so that you can see. Give me a sec. Oh yeah, here's word of the day. Okay. So here's what I want you guys to do for day 1. This is your challenge assignment or your action step, is to declare what it is you really want with money. And I would recommend giving yourself like 20 minutes of downtime to think about this so that it's not coming just from the mind, just from the ego. Just think, what is the next experience I really want with money? And don't judge it if it feels big or small or whatever. Like, just decide, what is it that I really want? So take a little bit of time and journal on this. Number one, what do I really want with money? Number two, what do I want my financial situation to be? Like, get that down in writing. If it could be anything, what do I want it to be? Number three, why? What are those little micro moments that you're excited about within this new reality? So like, if you think about it in the future, the reason you want this is like, maybe there's little reasons why. What are the things that you're excited to have or experience or do or to be different? Think about those micro moments and what's going to be different whenever you have it, and get yourself excited about it. Lean into why you want it. And then the fourth one is, why does this matter to you? That's really important. Why does this matter to you? So I would journal those out. And then I'll actually, Daniela, can you put these in the Facebook group? I'll send them to you. Just so that you guys can have them. And then in the Facebook group, you don't have to share all of that. What I'll have you share is just share what your audacious money goal is. So use hashtag day one. You can share what's come up for you from writing about this, but I want you to share, what is that audacious money goal? What are you declaring to the universe that you really want? What are you ready to create? And share it in the group. It's really powerful doing that. And I just want to say this whole, like, there's no judgments here, right? We're all in this together. We're all doing this work together. So it really is amazing to have a community space where you can declare it and we're all doing this work together. So we're not going to judge one another. You know, it's one thing to share it with someone who doesn't believe in you, but it's another thing to share it in a group with others who are doing this work with you. So that's what I got today. Now, tomorrow is going to be absolutely amazing. We are going to be getting even further into, now that you're setting the audacious goal, we're going to get further into the energy of creating the goal, because that matters. And that, again, is what can trip a lot of people up. So if you approach it from impatience, or I don't know how, or you struggle in the like, how do I actually create this? That's what we're talking about tomorrow. And it's going to be super powerful. So I cannot wait to see what all of your audacious money goals are. If you are in VIP, we're hopping off of this link and you're going to go to the VIP link. It was sent to your email. So hop on the VIP link because we're going to a more intimate community and we're going to coach. So I will see you guys in like 1 minute over there. All right. Bye, y'all. Hey, thanks for listening. I hope this episode is something that you'll be able to add to your manifestation toolbox to come back to when you need a little extra motivation. If you like what you've heard today and want to take it deeper, you've got to come check out my signature coaching program, the Money Manifestation Movement. It's the place where you'll not only learn manifestation, but you'll begin to live it alongside me and an amazing community of like-minded entrepreneurs doing this work together. Head on over to jamieberman.com to learn more.